Hi everybody, it's Christina from Adventures in Polish Land. Today I'm going to be picking my April TBR for the American Lit Reading Challenge. If you are new here, this year I am reading a book set in every single US state and territory, and my reasoning behind this challenge is I want to learn more and celebrate the vast diversity of different people and cultures that we have here in this one nation. And so every month I am picking 5 random states or territories out of a cup and then making a TBR with a book set in each of those places. So I am going to get started with picking my 5 places. I will say I am behind a little bit. I am carrying 2 books over from March. I had a bad reading month in March, but that being said, I decided to still go with 5 new picks for my TBR in April because I'm hoping my slow reading in March was an anomaly and not the new norm, but we will reassess at the end of April and see if I need to cut back in May. The books that I'm carrying over are Flight Behavior by Barbara Kingsolver. This is set in Tennessee. And I am also carrying over The Reckless Oath We Made by Bryn Greenwood. Sorry for the glare. This one is set in Kansas. So let's go ahead though and pick out my 5 new places for the month of April. I will give this a good shake. And now we'll get going. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's see if we get any territories this time around. First up, we have Louisiana. Then we have Iowa. Next up is Alaska. Then we have Colorado. And finally, we have Nevada. So no territories. The only territory I've picked out so far is Washington, D.C. They are few and far between, but we have 5 new states. So what I'm going to do is turn the camera off. I'm going to consult my list of TBR books because I am reading almost all of these books from the library, and therefore I have a list of books saved that I already want to read that I have pre-planned for this challenge. And then if there are states that I don't have anything pre-planned, I will do some research and come back and let you know what my TBR will be. Okay, I'm back. That actually took me a very long time. I did not have any books pre-planned for any of these states, so I had to do a lot of research and I found it extremely challenging this time around. But I have my list, I have my computer here so I can share more with you about the list, and here is my TBR. So for Alaska, I actually have a book that I'm going to read for this. It is The Call of the Wild by Jack London. I own this edition of it. These, I believe, are the Puffin Classics. It was a series of children's books that came out with these beautiful cloth-bound editions and stunning end papers. And I collected a handful of these, and they're books that I don't consider on my TBR because although I do plan to one day read them, they're not officially TBR books. They're books that I'm more or less collecting as decor for a bookshelf because when you line them up, they have beautiful rainbow spines. But nonetheless, this does fit the challenge. This, I feel like, is one of those books I was supposed to read in school and never did. I feel like we had this in elementary school, so hopefully this will be a quick read as well as an enjoyable one. But it was first published in 1903 and is based on Jack London's experiences as a gold prosecutor in the Canadian wilderness and his ideas about nature and the struggle for existence. I did mention Canada there, but it says it also is about the fight for survival in the frozen Alaskan Klondike. So here is my pick for Alaska. Next up, we have Colorado, which there were a few interesting books that I found for Colorado. I ended up going with the one that my library system had, and that is The Dog Stars by Peter Heller. And this one sounds right up my alley. It is a post-apocalyptic dystopian novel, which is my favorite genre. And it says, Higgs somehow survived the flu pandemic that killed everyone he knows. Now his wife is gone, his friends are dead, and he lives in the hangar of a small abandoned airport with his dog Jasper and a mercurial gun-toting misanthrope named Bangley. But when a random transmission beams through the radio of his 1956 Cessna, the voice ignites a hope deep inside him that a better life exists outside their tightly controlled perimeter. That sounds right up my alley. Not sure how much Colorado's going to play a role in the book, but this was on every list that came up, so we're going with it. Next up is Louisiana. For this one, I am going with A Lesson Before Dying by Ernest J. Gaines, which apparently is based on a true story about a Black man who was accused of murder and sentenced to death. I don't know much about this book. I know I've definitely heard of it before, so might as well read it this year since it fits my challenge. Next up, we have Nevada. Now, this one was extremely challenging for me because so many of the books that I was finding for Nevada were crime novels, westerns, and romance, and none of those genres really appealed to me. But I did find a book, I've never heard of it before. It's called Better Luck Next Time by Julia Claiborne Johnson. This is a historical fiction novel based in the 1930s in Reno, Nevada. And it says, in 1938, women seek a quick, no-question split from their husbands, and they head to the divorce capital of the world. There's only one catch. They have to wait 6 weeks to become residents. So it sounds like this book follows their antics as they spend 6 weeks in Nevada trying to divorce their husbands. And this seems like a book that would interest me because it has that feminist angle of women who want to be able to divorce their husbands even in a time when that's not the norm. And then finally we have Iowa, which was also pretty challenging for me to find a book set in Iowa that I was interested in. I ended up going with Universal Harvester by John Darnielle. Again, I've never heard of this one, but it is set in a small town in Iowa in the late 1990s at a video store. And it looks like this is a horror novel when somebody returns a video and it doesn't go as planned. I don't know much about it, but it is available at my library, so we're going to go for it. That's my TBR for April. A lot of wild cards for me here. We'll see how I go. I'm probably going to wait until a little bit later in the month to reserve these from my library so that I can get caught up on the books I already have here with me. If you have any recommendations for any of these states, so that was Alaska, Colorado, Louisiana, Nevada, and Iowa, I would love to know. I'm always open to your recommendations as well because the more books I learn about, the more chances I have to find something really interesting to read. So I appreciate that. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.